Hi everybody, welcome back to Charlotte Family Firewood. This week, kind of all over the place. We did a little bit of welding with Brody.
Okay guys, so you remember last weekend we had a little issue with the conveyor. We broke the wheels off. My welds weren't all that good. I've since tuned up the welder, and tonight I decided that I was going to teach Brody how to weld. And so and he can do it. So we were welding a little bit, and he said he wanted to make a video. So here's Brody welding. All right. Ready? Do some more. We got a lot to do.
See Wyatt?
Look at that, Brody. You actually did a good weld.
See, I did that stuff.
That's
Let's
hot.
take it out.
That's really hot now. Don't touch it. No, we can't feel it. It's really hot.
I'm gonna do it again.
Good job, Brody.
Second thing we did was we worked on the kiln a little bit. We were actually getting rid of this kiln, and we're starting a second version. And it's not going to be in the shed, so that I have my shed space back. We'll have to show you that at a different time, though. Want to get it farther along before I show that. The third thing we did is we got loaded up for a firewood delivery. That delivery did not go so smooth. I wanted to film more of the delivery itself, but we actually blew out a brake line on the way to the place to dump. We were about an hour away from home, and that made for an even more eventful trip than I was planning for. So I did get loading of it, and then I got the dumping delivery, but I was going to record more of the getting to the place and stuff, but once the brake line went, I only had one concern when I was on the road, and that was driving safe. So
like I said in the intro, we have a firewood delivery. So I got the trailer hooked up down here. It's empty. And then this little order is for boiler wood. And so we're going to load this boiler wood up. And if you remember, I haven't really set stuff on the ground much before. I'm a little afraid of how much dirt we're going to get in it. But I don't use it a whole lot. But we hooked up our grapple on the skid steer, and that's got slotted bottom with teeth, so hopefully we're not going to get too much dirt. We're not going to get anything from this pile. We're going to take from this pile today, and we're going to load this up tonight yet, and then we will we're going to go plan to deliver early tomorrow morning. So let's get this loaded up.
okay, guys, while we're loading up this firewood and making this firewood delivery here, I just wanted to tell you something. I guess I don't even know how to feel about it. It's a story that happened at work, but if you don't know, I work in a high-income lake community for my full-time job. I run the sanitary sewer collection system in that area, and I got a phone call on Friday from some big fancy architect who wants to build a new house on the lake. And you know, we're probably talking million plus, probably 1.5, closer to $2 million house, I would imagine. And you know, he's asking how we can make the sewer system work for his new house, and it's not quite as easy as the shit flows downhill, because we have a pressurized sewer system around the lake, and so it's not quite as simple as gravity sewer, but it's still not all that complicated. And he was having a hard time understanding, so I left that conversation on the phone, saying that we'd meet in person and I'd explain it to him better. So then about a half hour later, a fancy Land Rover SUV pulled into my parking lot with flat tire. And I didn't know it at the time, but it turns out to be the same guy I was just talking to on the phone. And him and his wife started working on changing the tire, and at some point he decided he didn't have the tools he needed, or didn't have what he needed to be able to get this tire changed. So he came up to the shop and asked me if I had a hammer. I didn't know what he needed the hammer for, but I got him one. And I followed him out, and they had a lug nut they couldn't get off on the spare tire. And so I'm like, you don't need a hammer. Let's go get an impact. So I went and got my impact, and I got the loose for him, and I helped him change the tire. And I guess, long story short, when I left that conversation, like, they knew what they had to do to change this tire, but they didn't have the skill to make it happen. And I guess I left that conversation, and I wondered who won in this scenario, who was the winner. And not trying to say that I'm better than anybody, or that they're better than me. It takes everybody to make the world go around. But I felt a lot better, a lot more, I guess if you want to say it, superior. Like I said, I'm not better than them, but my skill set is more useful, maybe, or I don't know. I just felt he might have more money than I do, but I've got the skills. And when the chips are down and you really need somebody, I guess I felt like nobody's calling the architect. You know, I'm never going to need to call an architect, but the architect will need to call somebody like me. And I don't even know how to feel about it, but you know, I grew up on a farm doing a lot of life skills at a young age, and you know, I guess society would say that he wins because he's got more money. I'll never be able to build that lake house, but I guess I felt when I left there, I guess I felt like I won. I would much rather have the skills and stuff to do those tasks. So you know, again, not trying to sound like I'm cocky or trying to be superior to anybody else. I just, you know, it takes all types. But I was wondering what you guys think. I'm sure all of us watching these types of videos have those skills, but I just thought it was interesting conversation. So anyway, let's get back to loading this. Let's get back to this firewood delivery and see what else we can get into.
Keep going. I'm pretty good. I'm not trying to sound cocky, but I've been driving tractor and backing up trailers since I was like 6. So I've had some practice. The no brakes thing is a little new to me though.
Yeah, that's a little challenge for you.
Yeah.
I got home and I started working on the brake line, and that's when Bob showed up and got to work cutting up some of those big maple logs that I had left from the big original wood pile. And then we got started on some of the oak too. So here's that now.
All right, we just got home from that delivery a little bit ago, and look who we caught in the act. Bob's here and brought his big saw, and he's cutting the last of the real big logs up for me again. He's here before I even get a chance. But I better roll some logs for him.
All right, guys, that's going to be it. Kind of an all over the place weekend, but we got a lot done and worked on several different tasks. So it's hard to narrow it down to one thing I wanted to show. I wanted to show everything we did this week. So that's what you got. So I truly appreciate you watching, and we'll see you on the next one.